Hi, and thanks for joining us. I'm David Penn, research analyst with Finovate. We're here at FinovateFall in New York, and joining me is Shanti Shanmugam. She is the CEO and co-founder of Casap. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So it's fantastic to have you at Finovate. Got to see your demo the other day. Very, very interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about the company, why you've founded it, and sort of what are the things you're doing in fintech.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and start off with that. What inspired you to start the company, and what are some of the things that you're doing that are attracting customers to you compared to your competitors?
Yeah. Well, before starting Casap 2.5 years ago, a few blocks from here actually, I was a early product leader at Robinhood. So I was on the fintech side of things. So spent a lot of time there, 6 years, really thinking about how do we evolve Robinhood beyond this app people use to kind of invest in the market to how could it actually be their primary money app, their primary financial relationship. And as I say this, people start nodding their heads because what I've realized is every financial institution on this planet is trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to build and earn the right to that primary financial relationship. And at Robinhood, what I noticed is as we grew, when I joined, we were 70 people back in 2017. As we grew into a post-IPO 25 million plus kind of consumer company, realized that trust is really the most important currency when it comes to fintech and earning any relationship. It's about trust. And I spent a lot of my time thinking about, well, when do people lose trust with their financial institution? And it's moments when things don't go the way they expect, like fraud, like disputes. So I had solved that problem with my team at Robinhood. My co-founder, Saisi, he kind of also learned and realized the same things at Chime, where he was at. So we kind of talked to each other and we said, I'm trying to do the same things, you're trying to do the same things, and every bank and credit union is trying to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Let us help them. So that's really why we started the company. And what we've noticed is we started the company the same week ChatGPT came out. So the world shifted and things that were not previously possible suddenly became possible. And we realized that we could actually figure out the moment someone's saying, I didn't make this transaction, help me out, because that's what a dispute is, help me out. Who's telling the truth, who isn't, and make sure we can instantly resolve things for truth tellers without losing money to fraudsters. And that is why people are choosing us, and that is our special sauce.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You mentioned credit unions a second ago, and obviously we're thinking about community banks and other financial institutions like that. What are some of the things that you're hearing from them in terms of their challenges when it comes to dealing with frauds and disputes?
Yeah, well, every financial institution is struggling because compared to maybe before COVID, post-COVID, there's this awareness of disputes. I've seen TikTok videos about it. I've seen Reddit threads, YouTube videos where people are saying, oh, you're slightly inconvenienced. You got a red sweater when you ordered a green one, file a dispute. Your bank, your credit union will handle it. Yeah, like they're treating their institution like a universal refund center, almost like their concierge, their private concierge. So there's this awareness of disputes increasing, and then anytime there's awareness of anything, there's going to be fraud that follows. So now people are starting to say, I bought a TV last week. I have a little bit of buyer's remorse around that. Let me just pretend I didn't.
Oh, goodness.
Or, we see, people that might be, online gambling at a casino. Maybe they have a little better's regret, as we call it. And then they're saying, oh, I really wish I didn't do that. Let me just dispute and say it didn't happen. So now first party fraud, that's what this is called. Fraud is looking a lot more like people that we know that are kind of in the gray area. Then when we used to say fraud, it used to be someone in like a different country taking over your details, right? So that's what institutions are kind of complaining about, which is we really want to help our folks that are really stuck in a sticky situation, because that's what disputes are. They're peace of mind, right? That's really what it is, peace of mind that this payment is covered. Your credit and your bank, we got your back. But then you've also got, well, how do we figure out how to not lose money to fraudsters? And while complying with all of these very complicated rules and regulations around disputes.
That's really interesting. And I'm sure that the vast majority of people, when you think of fraudster, you think of the person in sort of a digital ski mask, basically. And to realize that a lot of it has to do with some unfortunate consumer behaviors that have started to develop over time, maybe with just the proliferation of e-commerce and the getting things back and forth so often that you decide I can just get rid of anything I pay for one way or the other. Could you talk a little bit more about some of the hidden costs of that first party fraud that I think really is something that people are just starting to be more and more aware of as a problem.
Yeah. So often when people, especially financial institutions, are thinking about fraud or disputes, the first thing they think about is, oh, it's something that's a drag on my team. And if we're going to make it better, it's about making my team a little more efficient. Maybe giving them a platform that does something a little faster, a little this. Really, the true cost of fraud, the true cost of dispute is not just in their team's time, it's in trust. All right. So if you're saying, hey, I really did not buy this TV at Best Buy. I really need you to have my back. Yeah. And right now, most financial institutions, especially if they're not working with us, it takes on average 90 days to resolve your case. And you're kind of waiting in the dark the whole time. Right. And maybe they give you a credit up front because you're supposed to, but then at the end, if they don't get that money back from the merchant, they're going to be clawing that money back from you 90 days later. Wow. And it's a very trust-breaking experience. It is the #1 reason why people are leaving.
Really interesting.
Their institution as a primary financial relationship is because of a negative dispute experience. So that is the hidden cost of a dispute. Not just the team's time, not just the fraud losses, it's the trust, the member trust.
Yeah, very interesting. And that was one of the things you brought up at the beginning. Can you talk about some of the sort of specific results that you've been able to achieve with some of the organizations that you've worked with?
Yeah. We have recently published a case study that made me so proud of what we've done in the short 2.5 years we've been around. Which is that our clients are seeing a 51% reduction in fraud losses after implementing Casap. So that is money that they were writing off to fraud before. Half of that they don't have to write off anymore and can go back into providing amazing services for their consumers. So that is #1. #2 is that the cost per dispute. Because most institutions, they have a team doing the first part of it, and then a lot of them are outsourcing the second part of it, the chargeback part, to their processor. And they're paying their processor usually $20 to $40 a case, and it takes 90 days to resolve. Usually it's getting lost, and then there's also no updates along the way, so you're losing your consumers along the way as well. They no longer have to pay processors to do that. When they leverage our platform and our AI can help them do that for them. So they've dropped the cost per dispute down by 90%, and we're often saving our institutions money on day one. Wow. So we don't even need to be part of a budget. We pay for ourselves.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
You mentioned AI a minute ago. It's a major thing we're talking about here at the show, of course. It's a big thing in fintech and financial services. I wonder if maybe by way of wrapping up, you could talk a little about the role of AI, both in terms of fighting fraud and better handling disputes, and at the same time delivering a consumer experience that's going to be rewarding for them and is going to maintain that trust that you say is so important.
Yeah, it's a great question. And AI, there's been such a huge impact in our world and especially in our industry with AI. When it comes to fighting fraud and also creating those delightful consumer experiences that has them coming back to you over and over again as their most trusted relationship, it really comes down to one thing, which is when your consumer is coming to you saying, I need help, who's telling the truth and who isn't? We can figure that out up front. The moment they reach out to us, we're looking at all of these pieces of data, and our AI can look at this and say, hey, we think Shanti's telling the truth. She's stuck in a sticky situation. This is what the dispute process is meant to be for. Let us instantly resolve her case. Let us show her that we have her back. That's what AI lets us do. Because when you could tell who's a fraudster and who's not, you can provide those amazingly delightful experiences without losing the shirts on your back to fraud.
Right, excellent, excellent. Well, very interesting conversation with you, some fascinating facts, the points you made about the first party fraud, and quite frankly, the work that you've been able to do, 50+% sort of reduction is really a number to be proud of.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for joining us as well.